What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Here tonight, we have the ARCA Evolution Series from the Dover International Speedway for a fantastic 75 laps here. Going to be awesome to see these drivers do battle once again here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting, we have some special partners out there that we need to give a shout out to. First out there is Nissan Central. They are the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics. Sheffield Graphics is the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics and tell them Freaky Fast sent you. Next, our proud partner here is ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air like a traditional speaker, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful bass response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure to go to ButtKicker.com and you can feel what you've been missing. And you can also use Freaky Fast 20 to get 20% off at any purchase at ButtKicker.com. We want to thank all our proud partners here at the Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. as we get ready for the action here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. I am Zach Hall up in the booth. Joining alongside me will be Brandon Colley, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. running the cameras in the background and keeping us on our feet with the chat. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in here tonight. Brandon, it should be a fantastic race here as we got 2 Dover races here on this special Tuesday night.
Yeah, a lot of Monster Mile action tonight here with the ARCA Evolution Series and or the RSR Cup Series. And these ARCA cars, man, they're pretty tough. They don't like to turn. It almost feels like you're rolling over the right front trying to go into a corner pretty hard. They get pretty snug as the runs go on, and here at Dover, that'll bite you because these walls coming up out of the corner comes at you fast. You're gonna have to manage that tire wear while also trying to find speed.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be the critical thing. I think you said also is tire wear. The drivers are gonna be talking about that all night. It's gonna be kind of a balance between that. Do you give up the short run pace to have better long run pace? We'll see which driver can manufacture that, or someone out there have the pace to continuously run fast laps. So we'll have to see if somebody can do that. It's definitely possible. But Dover is gonna be some type of race, I can tell you that much, as we got about a little bit less than 2 minutes here to go in the practice session here before we go into our qualifying session to see who wins the Sheffield Graphics poll. But Brandon, coming in tonight here at Dover, who do you think's our favorite possibly? Because we got David Edwards, our points leader, on top of the board right now in practice.
Well, I think in talking about favorites, I think you always have to look at the 14 of Chris Smerol. He just seems to be good each and every week. But at the same token, David Edwards, he's the points leader for a reason. And that certainly will make him a favorite at any track. But I think those are the two guys that are really, top of the mountain. Chris Smerol seems like he's kind of missed a couple races, not really had the best of luck, but got a whole bunch of wins and is slowly reeling in that points lead.
Yeah, and like you said, slowly reeling that points lead in. Yeah, he's up to second now after last week getting that victory. So he's got that points lead down to 45 points now to David Edwards. So the top 2 drivers in points coming in here tonight, definitely the favorites, I would say. Also, Brandon there. So we'll have to watch their progress all night as they battle for each other. Stephen Carey enters tonight here, 3rd in points, with Jeff Carson 4th and Matt Upbrook in 5th. So a great points battle throughout this whole entire season, as this is the 12th race of our season here in 2021. And I tell you what, it's been fantastic so far. But the big thing I look at is, we talked about the 2 favorites possibly, Smerol and Edwards. Smerol, what I think he's got in his back pocket, Brandon, is those tires. He seems to always have the best long run pace, so he seems to always make his tires last the longest. And then when I look at David Edwards, it seems to be that he's always one of the best drivers in the race, and he usually has to come from the back to the front with his qualifying positions. But with the pace he's showing here in practice, he could possibly be looking for a pole position here tonight to get that Sheffield Graphics pole.
And that seems to have been David Edwards' weak point throughout this season so far. He's, we talked about it, he's top of the point standings. He's been running great throughout the races, but his qualifying has not been that good, having to come up through the field. If he can put down a solid qualifying lap here, like we think he will, based on his practice results, the rest of the field's going to be in danger, not having to have him come battling through the field and just maybe dominate this race.
I think he would love to see that, as he's only got 1 win so far this season through the first 11 races. He would like to make race number 12 that second victory here as we head off into our qualifying session to see who's going to be the winner of that Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here tonight, and get to talk to Brandon Colley here after we go through the grid. But man, qualifying here is almost got to hold your breath. It's a wild lap.
Yeah, you go in and you just kind of hope that the tires stick. You full send, try to get every little bit that you can, and hope that the tires stick going through the center of the corner there, and you just miss the wall on exit and put down a quick lap, and then you can breathe for a little bit before the race starts.
And it's completely different to how you drive in the race. It's such a big difference, I would say, style of driving. When you do a qualifying lap, like you said, you just drive it in there to where you possibly don't stick no more. It's you try to get to that edge of the grip level. And if you do that during the race, these guys are going to be struggling. So these drivers are going to get to go full bore here and put down their fastest times they possibly can. We'll have to see who can do the best right now is Malarkey right now with a 22.96 on top of the board.
It reminds me quite a bit, Zach, of Martinsville qualifying, the style with which you have to approach Martinsville to put down a really quick qualifying lap there versus the race pace lap. It's very similar in a lot of ways, and that may have a bit to do with the surface.
Yeah, definitely that concrete surface there. It's definitely one subject. It's going to come up all night long. As Malarkey goes faster on the second lap, and man, what a burner of a lap! 29.02. Richard Gonzalez right now in the sixth at a 22.94. David Edwards fastest in practice right now, 22.962. And I tell you, Malarkey, that's the fastest time we've seen all night here so far. So great time for that 73.
Well, maybe not the quickest in practice, but spend enough laps practicing, learn a little bit, and show it when it counts. Don't want to give away too much during practice and let guys kind of watch your laps and see where they're lacking on you. So good time for Malarkey to show his speed here. But also, sleeper Richard Gonzalez. Mentioned him quite a few times this season. He's slowly picking up the pace, getting better every week here, and it looks like a second place start for the 6th car tonight.
I think we got to give some credit to that 98 of Brian Fine. Also, each and every week seems like he qualifies near the top 5 and kind of runs there throughout the race. And he's a guy who's right on the edge of breaking through to possibly win this thing. And look at Upbrook putting in the time there to second right at the end of this session here. So great job by him as we got about, looks like 3 drivers left to put down times as none of those drivers are on track at the moment. So looks like the stands are going to hold stationary till one of those drivers elects to come out.
And it looks like Chris Smurl still not, well, maybe he did put down his 2 laps. Scoring says he's on 0.1 of a lap here, but I guess he has logged a time. So not the best qualifying effort for the 14, but yeah, Matt Upbrook jumping up to 2nd place there. It's pretty close times there from 3rd to 5th by about 0.02 of a second, separating the teammates, or excuse me, not teammates, the 6 and the 15 with the 98 of Brian Fine. They're squished in the middle in 4th place.
Yeah, it's really closed up the whole entire field here in this qualifying session. The practice was a little more spread out, in my opinion, with some of the times, and now we've seen it bunch right back up. And I mean, really even the the first 5 guys in the 22s. That's really impressive down there in the 90s. So looks like nearing about 1 minute left here in the session, and looking at it right now, none of the 3 drivers who have yet to put a time down, that's Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., Brandon Perry, and Josh Holmes, have set down or out on track. So it looks like that will be our qualifying order here tonight. So Malarkey's going to get that Sheffield Graphics pole award, and could tonight be the night where he breaks through and gets a victory at Dover.
Well, it's very much a driver's track, and starting from the pole is a good foot to start on. You just have to keep the tires underneath you and find a way to keep yourself up there.
Going to be a fun night, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in here as we have the doubleheader right here at the Monster Mile and Dover, Delaware, here with the ARCA Evolution Series and the RSR Cup Series from the Evolution Racing Leagues, brought to you by Nissan Central, Sheffield Graphics, and ButtKicker. It's going to be one heck of a race here. And strategy could be interesting, with the tires we have. Only 2 sets of tires in this race. With 60% fuel load, it looks like we're going to cut it down the halfway point. But, does someone save tires if we get a few cautions? We'll have to see. But I believe that is the end of the qualifying session, and we will pull up our starting grid here tonight at the Dover International Speedway for the ARCA Evolution Series. Starting from the Sheffield Graphics pole is going to be Justin Malarkey. Second's going to go to Matt Upbrook. Third is going to be Richard Gonzalez in the 6th machine. Fourth is going to go to Brian Fine. 5th is David Edwards. 6th, Kevin Dowd. 7th is Anthony Gaudio. 8th, Kevin Zabaldil. 9th, Zach Sandlin. And round out your top 10 is Stephen Rasick in the 2.
11th place will be Harold Rothery. Chris Smurl, 12th. Steve Potter, 13th. Justin Hendry in the 28 and 14th. Stephen Carey, 15th. Jeff Carson, 16th. Carl Thompson, 17th. Jake Ashay, 18th. James Wright, 19th. Michael Haru in the 20th position.
And 21st, it will say race control, but I do believe they'll be racing. 22nd will be Brandon Perry. 23rd, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., and 24th, Ryan Airfield B. Josh Holmes, as that's our starting grid here tonight from the ARCA Evolution Series. We need to go ahead and get our pole setter up here in the booth and see what Justin Malarkey has to say about setting tonight's top time here at the Monster Mile here in Dover. And here is Justin Malarkey.
Hey, Justin, it's Brennan in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, how are you?
Ah, man, I can't complain. Looks like you're doing pretty good as well, snagging that Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Dover. Man, how's the card handling out there? You know, what's the balance like? No, normally trend's pretty tight here.
Yeah, car felt really good. Practice felt good. Qualifying felt really good, obviously. So I think that should get me in the All-Star race, which I wasn't as of last week. So I'm excited for that.
Well, that is a good point. Trying to sneak in there is it's getting closer and closer to that All-Star race here, and
Yeah, it takes some pressure off for sure.
oh yeah, go out and have fun and just try to you know, snag a win, even though it doesn't mean, you know, too much, but it's bragging rights, and that's what counts in racing. You know, hey, look, I got one and you guys didn't. So
Yeah, got to try and save these tires here because we get only one set. So I'm gonna try and get to lap 40 at least.
oh, that was going to be my next question, man. You know, talking about fuel loads and everything. What are we expecting for the fuel load here?
I'm expecting tires to really matter more so than fuel, but I think I can get to 40 laps on fuel, and then I'll be good to go for the rest of the race. I don't really plan on pitting beforehand, but we'll see. If anything, it'll be gas only. I want to save that last set to at least lap 40.
All right, bud. Well, let you get back down there and wish you the best of luck, and we'll be keeping an eye on the rest of this race. Hopefully talk to you at the end of it.
Yeah, hopefully. I really hope to hear from you guys. See ya.
All right, that was Justin Malarkey, our Sheffield Graphics pole winner. Perfect timing here also as the pace car is going to take the hard left-hand turn down the pit road as Justin Malarkey, you just heard from, is going to lead us to green here as these drivers come up onto the front straightaway. Green flag in the air, off and away. Oh, and the wrecking on the front straightaway. The Monster Mile collects a few cars here early in the going, and the first or Nissan Central caution is going to come out here on lap number 1, restart number 1. Wow, we got to see what exactly went down there as the Freaky Fast Broadcasting replay will come up here as we go into the restart zone. There you see Barney waving the flag. And from it looks like the two of Steven Rasick did not get going there on the outside line. And oh, it's stacked up. The 14 of Smarol, the 66 of Carl Thompson. Oh, multiple cars involved here, Brandon.
Yeah, that was really odd. I mean, I've seen wrecks here for wheel spin and everything, but it looks like the two just kind of misjudged where he was against the wall for the restart and just got stuck, as these ARCA cars kind of tend to do when they got the wall there. And everybody on the outside lane couldn't quite check up, weren't anticipating it on the restart there. That's really unfortunate.
Early damage for a lot of race cars here at the Dover International Speedway in the ARCA Evolution Series. I tell you that I always think those first lap cautions like that make interesting restarts for the second time around, because you know it's kind of like you get reset and you're like, wow, that just happened, and it's kind of surprising. So some of these drivers can go into a little bit of almost like a shell shock that, oh man, we got stopped this early in the going. So we'll have to see who can rebound from some damage, but man, early in the going, that's tough to see for a few drivers out here tonight at Dover.
Yeah, really unfortunate for the 28 as well. He had a similar incident last week, getting early damage. Was able to rebound pretty nicely. We'll have to see what he can do here at Dover and rebound the same, but a lot of damage for a lot of guys. The good news is this ARCA damage model is a bit more forgiving than a lot of the other damage models for the oval cars that we run. So they can get away with a little bit of damage here and not lose too much speed, but some guys, it's looking a little bit rougher, and they may be affected by that for the rest of the race.
Yeah, this is a track you definitely want to have as much downforce as you possibly can. I think any bit of damage, you're going to want to get that fixed for sure. Man, it's Dover's a tough racetrack, and it only makes it tougher when you go out there and get some damage on the car. So, man, it's gonna be a long night if these things trend to go to the tight side.
Yeah, that I hate the feeling of getting involved in something that early into a race. The anticipation, you look forward to the races all week, you practice them, and all throughout the practice session leading up to the start of the race, you're kind of shaking out the butterflies and just getting mentally focused. And something happens like that at the start of a race, and you get some damage. It's really deflating, and you kind of gotta, settle down a bit and understand the position that you're in, and just try to make the best of it, not let it beat you up too much.
Dover always a track that beats you up, man. It's one that even when you win here, you got a little beat up by the monster. But this place is always fun to race at, and with iRacing doing a lot of updating to the track surfaces and such, I would like to see him possibly update Dover. Maybe could we get some multi-groove racing going on here? This place I think would be fantastic if you could get that outside or middle groove working. I mean, you can kind of diamond it and make it work and cut it down, but most of the time you're going to at some point be on the bottom here at Dover at this point with the tire model we have. So, hopefully that's something that comes to more tracks in the future, because I think it's been a good thing to see with these track updates we've had.
Yeah, it's absolutely worked at a lot of the tracks that they've updated. The racing, it really, each and every one of them has improved tremendously. And places like Dover, you see quite a lot of side-by-side racing where, you use the advantages and disadvantages of the different lines to your favor. And I think it'd help a lot here, especially, like you said, you can diamond it to a point, but eventually everybody kind of finds their way to that low line as the tires wind in. It just always tends to be the quickest way around. Fresh tires, it's a little bit more open, but mid-run later on, it's everybody's freight train in the bottom there, and you almost have to do like old school Bristol and move people out of the way.
You really, really do. It's definitely a bottom dominant track at the moment, but we'll have to see if any driver out there can find something. This new dynamic track updates, I tell you what, the tracks really are changing a good bit more than they used to, and definitely seeing it lap time wise and balance wise of these race cars. Pace car in this time. We're going to go back green flag racing after our little spill on the first start of this race. Coming up and out of the three-story building there off of turn 4, climbing that. Green flag is in the air. What a start from Richard Gonzalez. He's actually going to lead that lap there. But here comes the bottom back down there to 73 of Justin Malarkey with David Edwards trying to follow suit on the bottom.
You see how high up the track Richard Gonzalez was there through 1 and 2 off the restart. Carried a lot of momentum here. We'll see exactly how well he can make this work and for how long before the tires start to give up.
That is the key, the tires to give up. These drivers are going to be fighting that all night long. As you see, look at Richard Gonzalez. He's searching up the racetrack up there in the second to third groove, and that's going to let Anthony Gaudio there in the 3 get to the inside in that 3 machine. And you're also going to have Matt Upbrook directly behind that too. So going to have to watch out for these drivers as they come through. And I tell you what, the battle up front too, David Edwards taking a look at our leader as Malarkey covers him off entering 1, but Edwards looking to get the lead here early in the going at Dover.
And I'm thinking, looking at the line here, Zach, Justin Malarkey seems to be a little bit more conservative on exit. He's kind of pinching the corner off a little bit, not really getting back to the throttle as quick as the 15. But that's kind of going to help him, depending on how much wheel he's actually putting into it to keep it down there. It should help him in the long run, just not abusing that right front off the corner.
Right front tire is going to be the one they got to watch for, that's for sure. You see Anthony Gaudio getting a little pressure from Matt Upbrook. But it looks like the 6 Richard Gonzalez still going backwards as he's up on the high line. And it looks like, that's Brian Fine behind Anthony Gaudio. It's Matt Upbrook battling with the 6 Richard Gonzalez. Now Kevin Zabel also in the 17. So multiple drivers battling there for that top 5 positions here at the Dover International Speedway early in the going.
Yeah, Richard Gonzalez is dedicated to that outside lane. Maybe he knows something that we don't. This is an extreme long run play here. He figures maybe the tires are gonna conserve a little bit running the high line, but that's a bit counterintuitive to my knowledge. It generally wears him out a little bit more running up there, but I don't know. Maybe he learned something.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he has something figured out these other guys do not, because I'll tell you, he had a great qualifying spot. I mean, third. But just going backwards here is now Chris Moreau going to try to get to the inside. And while all that went down, points to David Edwards. He said, Malarkey, I'm glad you could get the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award, but I'm going to go out here and try to get the Sheffield Graphics race win.
Yeah, we talked about David Edwards being one of the favorites and already out to lead here as we come across to take lap 13. Now, back in 8th position, mentioned Chris Smerol a little bit ago. Early damage in that wreck, but it looks like it's mostly rear end here as he's looking to charge back through the field. Now up 4 positions in that 8th spot. See if he can make his way to the front as David Edwards now slowly but slowly inching out this lead.
He is really starting to put a little bit of gap there, and he's moved up the racetrack a little bit too there in 1 that time. So trying to find something out here, but look at Brian Fine wheeling that 98 machine here in the 4th position, directly behind Anthony Gaudio here in the open 14 laps at the Dover International Speedway. He's trying everything he can, going to look to the inside of the 3, not going to be there this time, but like I said, Brian Fine's a driver who's been right on the edge of the podium positions. Could tonight be his time to break into this top 3?
It's very likely showing a lot of speed here, really almost pushing the 3 up here to try to catch up to Justin Malarkey and then David Edwards ahead of them. And also have to point out that 98 looked to be the only car last week at Darlington that had a clean car at the end of it. So he's definitely got the skill to be up here, just hasn't quite worked out. But like you said, this very well may be the day, and he's showing the speed.
Looking here now at the 21 of Brandon Perry here. He's starting at 22nd position. He's 18. He looks like he's new to the ARCA Evolution Series here. So, man, great to see him out there putting the laps down. Back in at the 81 of Jeff Carson. He's back in the 21st position. Actually, now up to 20th as he's gotten by James Wright in that 8 machine for 21st.
Yeah, and the good news is with so many cars getting beat up in that initial caution that we had on the start there, they've still got a lot of guys to race that have damage with them, so they're not going to be completely off the pace with a lot of guys. There's still a lot of racing they can do for positions here if they keep plucking away at it.
Now looking at the 48 here of Bob Fitzpatrick Sr., he's 23rd to 16th. He's got Carl Thompson in the 66th directly behind him in the 17th position. And up in front of them, directly is the 57 of Zach Sandlin. We were just looking at him running in the 8th position, and now he's got some heavy right front damage, so it looks like he's gotten to that wall, and that's put him back into 15th.
Yeah, going back and looking at it, Zach got the wall hard coming out of turn 4, just washed up a little bit center of the corner. By the time he came out, could not pull it back down, and slapped the wall and just kind of grinded it all the way to turn 1, and it looked like he actually made contact with the 4 of Harold Rothery as well on the entry to 1.
Damage is something you definitely don't want here. Looking through the field again here, we see Josh Holmes, Kevin Dowd here. They're in the 13th, 12th positions at the moment. This 23 machine. Directly in front of them, you got Steve Potter, Richard Gonzalez in the 60, starting at 3rd position. Justin Hendry up from 14th to 9th. Stephen Carey also 15th to 8th. Chris Merle 12th to 7th. So definitely some drivers driving up and through. And I can tell you right now, we talked about Smerle, how fast he was. Oh, lead change up front. Justin Malarkey to the inside in the 73. He goes past David Edwards, and that's going to let Anthony Gaudio also get to the inside here and let him get the second, as looks like David Edwards starting to fall off here in the 15 as this run continues on.
Yeah, I was looking at the scoring, Zach, as you were talking about the 83 of Stephen Carey, and noticed that gap that he had started to pull out was shrinking pretty rapidly. And I think David Edwards just turned a little too many hot laps out here to get to the lead around the 73 off the second restart. But now back to 3rd place. Justin Malarkey looking to gap out that lead, but Anthony Gaudio hoping to not let him get too far away.
tell you what, Malarkey did a great job on him there to see the crunch bar 60 heading off into 3 and 4. He's gonna get by fine, and it looks like Zabaldil coming into the picture also in that 17. So great run for Kevin Zabaldil, starting 8th up to 6th, and times he's running right now are right up there with the leaders, and same with Christopher Schmerl back in the 7th position.
Well, a lot of guys looking pretty close, but last time by, Justin Malarkey, our leader, the only one to run in that 23-second bracket here with a 23.9. See what it is this time by, where the rest of the field's stacking up. And he is still 2/10 quicker than really anybody else except for the 14 of Chris Sproul back in 7th position. Was actually the quickest car on the track last time.
Sproul always one of those drivers that just seems to put together the long run of the race. Tell you who's also going forward is the 16 Matt Upbrook there, as he has now took over the 3rd position from teammate David Edwards, and he set his sights on Anthony Gaudio as Malarkey is checked out, with now Chris Moreau getting by Brian Fine. So you're definitely seeing the tire wear starting to affect a lot of these drivers here on lap 26 and seeing who saved and who didn't.
And it's such a fine line for that tire saving, and feeling like you need to really push to not let them give up too much time on you. And some guys are just really good at it, and it's a risk versus reward thing, man. You try to build out that gap and hope that maybe they burn it up a little bit trying to get back to you. But if somebody's really patient and they know what they need to do, they can run slower, but it doesn't matter how big of a gap you pull out, they'll still reel you back in really quickly.
Man, it's changing up so quickly here as we're looking back at the 6 of Richard Gonzalez with Justin Hendry. Just got back by him, so that puts him up to 9th position there, as he's got a couple seconds up to Stephen Carey in the 8th position. But I tell you what, the positions up front are changing quickly, as Matt Upbrook back up into 2nd, David Edwards up into 3rd, Anthony Gaudio back to 4th now. So it's all changed around. Chris Moreau up to top 5 now too. So it's really showing right now who has got the long run pace, and I tell you, the driver who has the most of it, that is the 73 of Justin Malarkey.
Absolutely. He is putting down some burner laps in comparison to the rest of the field here. I think the closest contenders are David Edwards and Chris Sproul, but they were 2/10 off last time. We'll see what it is this time by. Still 2/10 for Edwards. Sproul able to actually run quicker by a 10th last time by, so they're just slowly trading off who's running that quicker lap. But it's not even, hundredths that they're running quicker. It's just every other lap they're trading a 10th or so on lap time.
Yeah, we're right on board here with the 3, Anthony Gaudio, and I tell you, he's got big pressure behind him. 14th Christopher Schmerl running some of the quickest laps on the racetrack right now. And we see each and every week that's his strength, is the long runs. Now he's got up into the top 5, and he's got 3 drivers directly ahead of him, and really 2nd place not too far ahead. So Sproul in the 14 here. By the time we see pit stops, he could possibly be in 2nd place if he can keep this pace up.
And what I'm seeing here is the advantage that Sproul has in the 14 is his exit. He is able to get back to the gas a little bit sooner, whereas these guys looking like they've tried to push that envelope on the exit of the corners too early in this run here. He's able to roll the center and really get back to the gas hard, and that's how he's making all of his time.
You see there, made the pass there for the 4th position, now setting sights on points leader David Edwards. This is the top 2 in points here battling for this 3rd position. Looking back now at Anthony Gaudio, and look at the rear end of this car. Definitely a little bit of damage on the rear of that 14, and he's doing fantastic with it no matter what. This 14 is going forward here as they race off of turn 4. There's lap car James Wright. They're getting by as he sets his sight on 3rd.
Lap traffic indeed now becoming a factor, but doing a great job of staying out of the way. But even as much as you try to stay out of the way here as a lap car, just the way that you have to exit these corners, it throws everybody up toward the wall. And you catch a lap car in the wrong position, trying maybe a little bit too hard to get out of the way, you can still run into trouble. But so far, navigating it pretty well. And Chris Sproul now making a charge to the inside of David Edwards here to take over that 3rd position.
Oh, wow. And Edwards up almost into the wall. And he's going to slide back. It's like all the way to the 6th positions. Kevin Zabladil breaks himself into the top 5. As now the top 5 will be Justin Malarkey, Matt Brook, Chris Morrell, looks like Kevin Zabladil, and David Edwards.
Steven Rasick having that heavy damage from that first caution at lap, well, I'd say lap 0.2. Having a hard time. He's just really struggling. I imagine the damage is not helping, but just can't quite seem to have it. Ooh, we got a car down by the wall on the front stretch there. That would be Zach Sandlin in the 57. Don't know what happened to him, but great job keeping that thing pinned down to the apron and not going back in front of the leaders.
What it looks like there, Brandon, he literally just got in the wall for 4, and that, to me, 4 always seems to be the corner that always gives me a little more trouble. I don't know about you, what your experiences are here, but it seems like 4 was always the corner. If I got into the wall here at Dover, it was usually off of 4 instead of 2.
Mine is the exact opposite, Zach. I always had a problem with turn 2. For whatever reason, it seems like it's snugged up a lot more. I felt like I could fly coming out of turn 4. I had a lot of confidence with the grip level there. But yeah, the exact opposite for me. Turn 2 was always my trouble spot.
Very interesting racetrack here, a lot of character, and it causes all types of problems, so not surprised to hear all types of different issues. For drivers out here on the racetrack, is right on board with Brian Fine now. He's definitely fell off the pace ever since the start of this race, and he's fallen into the clutches of Stephen Carey, and not too far behind that, Richard Gonzalez. So Brian Fine right now in 7th, but definitely, I would say 8th could possibly be in the near future for Stephen Carey as he continues to march forward in this night.
Hearing some calls over the radio, guys are going to be pitting this time. I believe the 16 of Matt Upbrook. And talking about Brian Fine, I was noticing that he was running the same lap times as our leader, Justin Malarkey, but I believe that was just due to Malarkey trying to navigate some traffic here. I thought for a second maybe Malarkey saved a little bit, but then went ahead and burned it up in one go. But if we're starting to make pit stops here, it's a good time to burn up your tires.
You gotta use what you got, Brandon. You can't waste the tires that you have, and everything you can do. I got one set in the pits, and got my producer saying, "Ooh, up here, I'm scared somebody might have gotten to the wall out here on the track." I believe that was Zach Sandlin actually getting pretty hard to the wall. As you see the heavy right side damage on that car, and not having the night he wants right now in the 22nd position, 1 lap down. Thank you everybody for tuning in here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcast. We got a great crowd out there. Make sure do not forget to tune in later around 9:20 Eastern for our Cup Series action. It will be fantastic here at the Dover International Speedway also, as the Cup Series drivers do battle. This is the feeder series to that Cup Series, this ARCA Evolution Series. It's been fantastic. This is the 12th race of the season, and we appreciate every one of you tuning in here each and every night.
What Zach said. It's my go-to response.
I like when people agree with me, so I'll take that. And we've seen pit stops start to transpire, Brandon. You know, few drivers electing to do it. Malarkey yet to do it. Same with Smirol, but I tell you what, Smirol cutting time out on Malarkey here as this run goes on. It was a 4.5 second lead when Smirol got into position. Now 3 seconds, only 1.5 seconds cut out of that since he's got to that second place position. This race is still not over here before he's at pit road. I think you can see this 14 run this 73 down before the end of this race.
It's looking very likely, running now consistently 2/10 of a second quicker for Smirol here. I think just a better job of managing the tires. You know, it's really paying off pretty well here. Even with Malarkey having the lead he had, he could take the time to get around the lap traffic. But even the slower traffic, it seemed like he was just really digging to get around. Whereas the guys that Chris Smirol was having to battle and potentially use up his tires, he was just really smart and methodical about it. It pays dividends when you're just patient like that. It's allowed him to slowly eat into this lead. It's still 3 seconds. But when you're running faster, especially coming up here to a pit stop where everything kind of gets reset, you know, it's making it a lot easier than it would have been back in the 7th position trying to run him down here. So great track position gain up 10 spots before we make these pit stops. Now it's a game of who pits first.
The pit strategy war will definitely begin here in the few moments. Is really the only driver I believe to elect to that was up here in this top battle was Uprook. He's 2 laps down right now in 23rd position. He's turning to 23.95 to our leaders 24.70. So really not even over a second faster. So really not too much of a difference between them. So right now I think Malarkey's got the right idea. Stretch the field as far as he can, because right now turning really good times. Actually, that last time by 25.35. That might have got held up on that lap. And now down to a 2.5 second lead up front. It's getting desperation time for Malarkey. But this pit road, one of the most difficult in all of NASCAR.
And you can see these guys being very conservative with how they're entering it, and there is good reason for that. Like you just mentioned, everybody's seen the video of Matt Kenseth losing it on pit road and getting stuck up on the barrels. This is one of the most difficult.
Oh, the 000. Let's say the 000. Josh Holmes there hard into the wall, I believe that was. Right in front of the leader of Justin Malarkey off of 2. Malarkey didn't like Malarkey had to lift too much either, though. So not really much time lost, but definitely lost 3/10 there lap time wise. Now down to 2.2 seconds with 25 to go. I think these drivers need to pit pretty soon.
You're running out of time where the undercut's not going to help you too much, and if you try to wait too long just to take advantage of the fresher tires, you're not quite going to have the amount of time. And Chris Merle now on pit road this time by. Malarkey has to come this time, and if he does not, I think he's given up too much time, and there's not much he's going to be able to do to chase back down the 14.
Well, I'll tell you what, even looking at the pit entry, with the Malarkey not coming this time here, we're coming to 23 to go this time by. The one thing I will give Malarkey credit here he has to work with is Smerol was very cautious going into pit road. I mean, he slowed down the back straightaway and didn't even go into the corner and he dropped down. I mean, he was already slowed down before turn 3, so he lost a considerable amount of time here in pit road. If Malarkey can do this quickly, he could come out pretty close and have way fresher tires. He definitely needs to pit soon, though, because this is getting a little too far to where he could be in danger of not being in position to, get back to the track.
Well, just now, Malarkey comes over the radio and says that he is pitting, and I think this actually works out pretty well for him. The entire time that Smerol was on pit road, he was out still turning laps here, so not really losing any time, and back to Smerol being very cautious on the pit road. I like the strategy. You've got the race pace. I would rather lose a little bit of time getting onto pit road than taking that speeding penalty or completely missing pit road altogether and having to go around again to come back to pit road. If you feel like you can beat them on pace, you don't need to push the envelope on pit road.
Now looking at Michael Haru in the 7 machine, as he right now in the cycle pit stops is up to the 4th position. As he started 20th, Hale Rothery in 3rd in front of him, just hitting pit road. Dabladil on pit road, Malarkey on pit road, multiple drivers on pit road. Key is going to be where does Smerol come out compared to Malarkey. Right now, Malarkey pulling out of his box. Smerol going into 1 now. There he goes by Malarkey off of turn 2. The 14 has about a straightaway gap over the 73 of Justin Malarkey here in the final run with 20 laps to go. Malarkey's going to have to push completely as hard as he can.
Yeah, he cannot afford to try to save anything now. If he was holding back before, he can't afford to do it now. 20 laps, 20 laps now, and roughly about 3 seconds. 3-second gap here. Not a good situation to be in. And Chris Smerol, he's racing guys, but they're not putting up that much of a fight either. So he's not getting held up too much. Lap cars still could be playing a factor in the mix here, having to navigate it once the tire's wearing slightly, but you're running out of time if you're the 73.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
Oh, is this a wreck on the front stretch right in front of the 14?
The 16 is involved, the Matt Upbrook. Oh, man, and that was our second place car. Unsure what happened between him and, it looks like him and Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. maybe had some contact off of turn 4. This changes everything now. Malarkey looking very strong, but at the same time, is Malarkey on the lead lap? Yes, he is. We're going to go back on the Freaky Fast replay. You're going to see Matt Upbrook here, the second place car, up a little high here. The 48, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. there on the low line. Looks like he may slide up in front of the 16 Upbrook, and he is not clear. And that's going to send him head first into the wall. And, oh, man, the hit the 16 took, that is unfortunate for those drivers.
Yeah, really tough luck for the 16 running second place as it was there. And also a bad result here looking like for the 21 in his debut race. Not going as according to plan. Ended up involved in that wreck. Man, the Monster Mile is being really mean today.
Yeah, it's definitely collecting a few drivers, and Upbrook having such a great run here tonight. Started second, was running second there. He's got to hit pit road now and get that car worked on. And same with David Edwards, our points leader. He looks like he maybe sustained damage in that incident too. I'll have to go back and look see if that's where that came from, or no, that looks like it came from somewhere else. So David Edwards is going to get that car worked on.
Well, it kind of works out, like you said, not only for resetting the gap that Malarkey had over Smirol, but he has slightly better tires. And we know that Chris Smirol tends to be a long run type of driver. Don't really know if he's going to be able to put together the short run here to hold him off, whereas Malarkey's, he can have that short run speed here to be able to jump out to a lead. This is going to be a really interesting run here once we get back to Crane.
Man, it's all over the place now with strategy. It's going to be, very wild to see who can play this right now with Anthony Gaudio out front. Our race winner already this season. He's out front now again. Can he get a second win of the season? We'll have to see. As it's been super fun here at Dover. That caution definitely shook things up, especially for Upbrook and Edwards, as those both get the cars worked on. And we got GT out there, our Truck Series champion here at the Evolution Racing Leagues, and and he's saying the crunch car got crunched, and for Matt Upbrook, and that's definitely got crunched there, unfortunately. And cautions breed cautions, also is what GT's saying out there, and that's a definite fact. We can attune to that up here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Cautions definitely seem to come when you get a few here at the end. And with this final 15 laps here, Brandon, man, what a dash we're going to have here. No drivers have set of tires left, so no tires games playing. It's just going to be a straight up battle now. Can Malarkey drive from 6th to the win?
Well, starting from the 6th position, he's got to hope that outside line gets a really good start. And the guy that is directly inside of him, which looks like it's going to be, I believe, Justin Hendry, that he's going to have to worry about, as well as Kevin Zabladell. He's got to hope that there's a gap that he can hop down. You want to hit the bottom as soon as possible here, but talking about cautions breeding cautions, especially this late into the race. You can afford to be a little bit cautious and passive on the restarts early on, but when it comes down to crunch time like this, you kind of need to be as aggressive. And if there's a gap and you think you can put your car there, you kind of just got to throw it in and say, look, if you come down, we're going to wreck.
Yeah, with the amount of time, you're going to have to get everything done pretty quickly. Smirol right here, that the best he can do is just get the best restart possible, and try to get past Anthony Gaudio and see if he can stretch it out. Anthony Gaudio is here. He's got to try to hold off Smirol, and then Malarkey, he's got to do his best job to drive through here. So multiple drivers in position to win here. Brian Fine also here in 3rd. Stephen Carey in 4th. Justin Hendry in the 5th position. Man, 14 laps to go here at Dover. It's any man's game up front.
Yeah, about to be wild for this 13 laps. everybody's going to be holding their breath for every single lap of it. I promise you that.
Did I say crunch time? Oh man, that's pretty funny. There's the pace car pulls in. The thing Zach says up here in the booth, you never know. As Anthony Gaudio is going to have control off of the corner here. Here he goes. Restart underway. Anthony Gaudio, great restart there, able to clear that outside line. And here comes Sparrow, clear for second, down in front of Brian Fine. Malarkey, not the greatest restart back in the 73. Can he get it rolling? But here comes the big run for the 14. Here comes the 98 of Brian Fine.
And Malarkey into the wall behind him, giving up a lot of time here. A little scuff, just enough to slow his momentum, but they're making aggressive moves up here to get this lead.
Oh man, battling hard here in the final 12 laps here in the ARCA Evolution Series. Who's going to win race number 12? These guys are going for it here in the final moments. Oh, a car smoking off of the corner. I believe that might have been Jeff Carson there in the 81. Looks like he may have got a little bit sideways there. Saved that thing. Got it going back straight here. 11 to go this time by.
Brian Fine showing that speed now. Up here, contending for the top three. Not only the top three, but looking to make the pass on this three to bring home the win. And just, he's not even letting him get away. Not even bobble. A little bit of bobble there, but that's been the first real mistake that he's made in this run. But at the same time, Chris Merle directly behind him has the freshest tires, especially over Brian Fine, by about 3-4 laps. And it's really starting to show now as the tires are heating up.
Yeah, the rejuvenation period of those tires is starting to get a little bit of temp in them now, and those fresher tires coming into effect. Here goes Sparrow, takes second for Brian Fine. But oh, there's a tap behind him. Stephen Carey in 83 trying to save that thing. Here comes Kevin Zabledil up into third here with 9 to go. Zabledil in position for a top 3 podium position with our top 3 separated pretty evenly now. Who is going to pull this thing off here in the final moments?
Well, after the incident on the restart there and the little bit of fortune that was thrown his way, I'm sure the 73 would love to see a caution right now, get this thing reset and have another chance to go at it. There's just not enough time for him to make up this gap. And it looks like now Anthony Gaudio in the 3, ever so slightly, starting to pull it out. And there's the caution.
Caution out on the racetrack. And looking at it, Brandon, these top 3 drivers have all pitted at the same time, too. They all pitted at 59. So they all have even equipment. It's going to be a brawl here down to the end as Malarkey gets back to 5th. We'll have to see exactly what happened here to bring out our caution here. About to go over Nissan Central, 3rd of the night. Oh, let's see the 000. Josh Holmes wrecking on the front straightaway. And heavy into that. And Owen down to the corner. Owen right back in front of the 81, Jeff Carson. Zach Sandlin skates by. Man, heavy hits for a few drivers here. And what did we say? Crossings breed cautions. There it is. Caution is out on the racetrack. And we got to redo this all over again with Anthony Gaudio leading the way.
Well, I got to give the advantage on the this next restart to the 3, having that that jump that he's going to get by being able to control the restart. But man, some guys, Jeff Carson and Jake Ashea have had horrible luck the last couple weeks. It seems like just getting caught up in something early and then just being kind of a magnet for stuff later on in the race, not really being able to stay away from it. It's really easy to kind of find yourself into a funk like that. It happens to the best of them. Hopefully they can rebound from it soon, because it's a really unfortunate position to be in, where you just kind of seem to find yourself in that position week in and week out.
Well, these are the drivers that are going to be put in that position. They're going to have to figure out their way, man. And this final restart, I mean, possible final restart. I always say that, you never know when you say that it could be another one. So it's definitely the possible final restart here. Smerol started 3rd on that last one. He'll start 2nd here. Zabledil, though, he was flying up through. Now up into 3rd. He has a shot at this thing. And if the door opens up, he's going to take a shot.
Oh, for sure he will. One thing I noticed on the last restart, Zach, is that it was really everybody was spread out. By the time they got to turn one, the top five, well, I believe even to the top seven, they had all single filed out. What you need to do is the inside lane here is try to get a good, as good a restart as you can. Keep those guys on the outside to the outside. It will give you such a huge advantage here, but really made it easy for him this last time. I don't know if it's going to be quite so easy this time. We will have to see, but I'm sure that's what's going through the 17's mind here. Do not give the 14 a chance to get down in front of you, and give yourself an extra car you're going to have to pass to get this win.
Oh yeah, it's I think if you're not in second by the exit of turn two, your shot at a win here is going to be down to the two drivers in front of you. I think making mistakes and getting into each other to let you have a shot. So never want to have that be the chance that you need. You're gonna have to decide your own destiny here as a driver, and we'll see who's in the right position here. I mean, Audio is, I mean, right there, he did perfect on that last restart, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him possibly do it again here.
Exactly right. I mean, we saw that he was struggling really on the later bit of that run before the pit stops, and the short run speed is definitely there, and it's worked out in his favor that we've gotten some short runs here after everybody's pit, kind of uh, nullified the advantage that a lot of these guys are having, just having fresher tires than him, and uh, the leader advantage controlling the restart as well has helped him out tremendously here, but we'll have to see exactly what kind of gap he can pull out on this next restart here, and if it's just enough to be able to hold off Chris Merle, and how the 17 is able to restart as well. Might be able to hold the 14 up just a little bit.
I want to tell you, this is some information here. So the 3 pitted on lap 50, the 14 on lap 51, and the 17 pitted on lap 54. So, tell you what, Zabladil here got a good shot here at this thing with the freshest tires. Let's see what he can produce here as they'll be coming to 3 to go when they take the green here, Brandon. Man, who would you rather have, the tires or the track position?
A track like this, I would rather have the track position, but I've been in the position to have the tires, and if you can find the lane, it's a beautiful feeling.
See if Zabladil can find that beautiful feeling Brandon is speaking about here, and the possible last restart of the night here. Anthony Gaudio going to lead us to the restart zone. He's off and away. Great start for him. Sparrow covers off. He's going to cover off the inside. Not the greatest start for Kevin Zabaldil. Oh, a little contact there in that third position between him and Stephen Carey. Slides Carey up the racetrack. And now the attack is on here with 3 to go. Down the back straightaway. Going to be coming to 2 to go. Malarkey trying to move his way up as he's up to the 5th position now.
And still trying to find his way to the front. Gonna be needing another caution here, I think. Gotta try something better on a restart. I think that's his best chance, but what I'm seeing, the 14, he is sending it on the entries here, and he's getting killed on the exits because of it, and that's allowed Kevin Zabladil now to close up to the back bumper and try to make the pass, but he's throwing crazy blocks into 3.
Oh, and the 17 is going to go way up the racetrack there. Big block from the 14. Oh, and man, Zabaldil hanging onto that thing there. Getting to the outside wall, a little contact there. That's going to let Carey up into that position. But, oh, man, I tell you what, look at the 14 dropping off with the white flag here, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. Anthony Gaudio going to look to pull off the win here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. Out of turn 4, your race winner is Anthony Gaudio, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. Looks like Sparrow going to hold off for second. Stephen Carey coming home with that 3rd position. Great night up here for these drivers at the Dover International Speedway. Also, Anthony Gaudio definitely looking like a good position right here as he's going to be filling in the Cup Series here tonight. So great stuff for him there as he'll be filling in for the fan favorite, Craig Burns.
Got some big shoes to fill there.
Yeah, definitely some big shoes, but I tell you what, Anthony's got a lot of fans out there rooting him on out there in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's see what type of celebration Anthony can put on here in this, I got to say, a mighty fine looking 3 good wrench car. There he is. Going to burn it down on the front straightaway here at the Dover International Speedway to celebrate tonight's victory. Second of the season for that number 3. We will find our top 3 finishers here tonight and get our podium interviews here in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll find those drivers. We'll be back in a few moments. All right, we are back here, everybody, for our post-race interviews here tonight for the ARCA Evolution Series at the Dover International Speedway. First up here, we have our third place man in points, getting a third place finish here tonight, Stephen Carey. And let's see what his thoughts are here tonight on getting a third place finish. Hey, Stephen, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, man, well, I'll tell you what, great run for you tonight. Coming here third in the points, able to get out of here at Dover with a third place finish, man. How does that feel?
Pretty good, especially when we had a top 5 car in Darlington until I screwed it up in the last 5 laps last week. So needed a good finish today. Started deep in the pack and wasn't looking good early on, but fought through it. And, really was a fun race and had a really good car.
Yeah, definitely looked great all night up there fighting in the top 5 in your 83, man. It was fun to watch here. Now, next week is the All-Star race, and then we head off to the Charlotte Oval, then Watkins Glen. How you feeling about the next few races coming up on the schedule for you?
Well, Charlotte is super fun, of course. I'm kind of bummed that Watkins Glen is falling on the week that it is because I won't be there that week. I'll be in Florida on vacation. So, but I had that one circled for a win for me. But sucks that I have to miss it.
Unfortunately, you do, my friend. But, man, I tell you what, great run here tonight at Dover to make up for that. But before we let you out of here for your third place finish, Steven, anybody wants to shout to me?
Yeah, everybody at the RSR crew for putting on a great league. You guys for broadcasting it. Fanatic, LearnSetup.com, and all the viewers out there to watch us do this on every Tuesday night.
Awesome stuff, Steven. Congrats on third here tonight, and we will catch you next week.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
All right, that was Stephen Carey, your third place finisher here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. Now we'll move on to second place man in points, getting his second place finish here at the Dover International Speedway. Looking for that fifth win tonight, just coming up short. Let's hear what his thoughts are on getting the second place finish. Hey, Chris, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic, man. Well, I'll tell you what, great racing here at the Dover International Speedway tonight. Another fantastic race for you coming in here second in points. Going to get a second place finish here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. But it seemed like the long runs were your key here again tonight, man, as we've seen all season, and just didn't play out for you there with that caution coming out. But man, what a battle all night. How was it out there at Dover?
I mean, you nailed it. Both myself and my teammate there, Justin Malarkey, feeling really good on the long runs. And so after the initial the caution there before we even made it to the start finish line, it was going green flag racing, and I thought we might have it in the bag there for a nice 1-2 finish for MR73. Cautions came out though, and the fast drivers came out to play, and I just had nothing there at the end for Anthony, unfortunately. Some good racing, close racing. Hopefully it was a good show for you guys and the viewers.
Oh, it definitely was. It was fantastic there coming down in, watching all you guys battle for that race, win up front. Unfortunately, like you say, coming up just a little bit short to Anthony, but another fantastic run to put in your back pocket as the season goes on, man. You've been, slowly cutting into that points lead. Next week we head off to the All-Star race, so no points involved. Do you feel like that week of off of kind of like stress about points is going to be nice?
I think so. I mean, we just a really fantastic string of races for me for the 14 car, but I'll tell you what, statistically, it's becoming less and less probable that I'm going to be able to maintain that, especially with the quality of drivers that we have around us. So, normally you'd want to keep that momentum going and not have anything to break it up. But I think just mentally and physically, I'm ready to go out and enjoy some, close, fast racing, mix it up a little bit, and then get our heads right going back into the second half of the season there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Edmonds have in store for us. And once again, hopefully we can put on a dang good show at the All-Star race at Charlotte.
Oh, it would definitely be a great show here, always at the ARCA Evolution Series, man. Well, I'll tell you what, Chris, great run here tonight, man, for that second place finish. Before we let you go, as always, anybody wants to shout out to?
My family, my wife and children, and I've got my parents, my in-laws, everybody watching. So it's a lot of fun. We get to share that as family. So thanks to you guys for putting that on for us and doing such a great job like you always do. And the my teammates, I guess, sorry, I forgot my train of thought there. MR73 Racing, we had a really good run going throughout the night. And of course, we're missing one of our teammates, Matt, tonight. So we miss him. But outside of that, it was a pretty good team effort. And then, as always, the ARCA Evolution League, all the other drivers, is just a lot of fun to come out here on Tuesday nights and spend some time racing against them bumper to bumper. And I can't imagine doing anything else with my Tuesday nights. So hopefully we'll see you next week for the All-Star race, and take care.
Awesome stuff, Chris, man. Well, congrats on second here tonight, and we'll catch you at the All-Star race next week. All right, that was Chris Moreau in the 14. Great finish here tonight, second place man at points. But now we'll move on to tonight's race winner here at the Dover International Speedway for Anthony Gaudio. Man, what a race it was for him there to sneak into this victory lane. I tell you what, running top 5 all night, but somehow snuck himself into that lead. We'll have to see how he pulled this off. Hey, Anthony, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, congrats on pulling off the victory here tonight at Dover, man. What a fantastic race. I don't know if you felt like that was, going to play out for you there like that if it went green, but man, I tell you what, you definitely did a great job to hold them all off, and you seem to have pretty well managed your tires there with a few guys with fresher behind you. So how was that restarting with a little bit older tires and with new tires behind you?
Well, at first, the first half of the race, I mean, I used them up pretty quick, but I just stuck it in and kept it up front a little bit, and those cautions definitely helped me out towards the end. I mean, I definitely don't feel like I had the fastest car tonight. Chris had a hell of a machine out there, but I got lucky on those restarts. I was able to get a good jump, and we got us a win.
You did, man. I tell you what, that's great to see for yourself in the 3. I mean, this is Dover right here, about halfway through the season now. We're going into the All-Star race next week, and then we'll have the next second half of the regular season before we go into the playoffs. And now with this win, it's looking very likely, that you'll be in that 16 man playoffs there if you get yourself in the right points position, man. But How does that feel for the first half, and what do you feel like you can do for that second half of this regular season?
I'm just gonna keep on the top fives, top threes coming. I got a good streak going. Knock on wood. Let's just keep it together and hopefully to be there at the final four. That's really it. I got a great. I actually just joined JCR Racing. Jeff Carson. They took me on board just 2 weeks ago. So it's good to be on a team. They're a really good group of guys over there. Everyone's pretty consistent, and it's good to be here.
I tell you what, man, it's good to have you in victory lane. It's great to see that three. I gotta say, fantastic paint scheme as always there in the three machine, man.
It's
Looking
classic.
great. It definitely is. That's a perfect way to put it, my friend. But man, congrats on the win here tonight at Dover. Before we let you go and celebrate this thing, anybody want to send a shout to? Because actually, you gotta get ready for the Cup Series race, I believe, later tonight too.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be my first Cup start with RCR. I'm a little nervous, but I think I can run with some of the top dogs up there. But yeah, I would like to give a shout out. This win was for my pops back home watching a race. Glad to be able to take the checker flag for that. And another shout out to my family, my little daughter, and soon to be having a son in June here. So pretty pumped about that.
Well, man, congrats on that, Anthony. Congrats on the win also here tonight. And good luck for the Cup Series. And hopefully, maybe we'll be talking to you there later tonight.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
All right, buddy. You have a great night.
You too.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight of Anthony Gaudio. What a job by him. And that is our post-race interviews here tonight at the ARCA Evolution Series at Dover International Speedway. Well, that was our post-race interviews here tonight, everybody. Thank you for that. What a fantastic race it was. With those top three drivers, going to hear what they had to battle all night. But don't forget, remember, we have here in less than an hour the RSR Cup Series here at the Dover International Speedway from the Evolution Racing Leagues, taking on the same track here later. So it should be one heck of a battle. But let's go ahead and pull up our race results here tonight to see where your favorite drivers ended up here for the ARCA Evolution Series. So bringing home that Sheffield Graphics win, it's going to be Anthony Gaudio. Second's going to go to Christopher Schmerl. Third's going to go to Stephen Carey. Fourth is Justin Willarkey. Fifth's going to go to Kevin Zabaldil. Sixth, Brian Fine. Seventh's going to go to Justin Hendry. Eighth, David Edwards. Ninth is going to go to Carl Thompson. 10th, Jeff Carson. 11th, Steve Potter. 12th is Harold Rothery. 13th, Kevin Dowd. 14th, Josh Holmes. 15th, Richard Gonzalez. 16th, Michael Haru. 17th, Jake Ashay. 18th is Steven Rasick. 19th, Brandon Perry. 20th is James Wright. 21st, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. 22nd, Zach Sandlin. And rounding out your field in the 23rd position is Matt O'Brook, as that is your ARCA Evolution Series field here tonight at the Dover International Speedway. What a race it was, Brandon. Man, what can we expect for the All-Star race next week? And, what can we expect going into the Cup race here in just less than an hour?
Well, first for the All-Star race, man, I think we're going to be expecting some really aggressive side-by-side, white knuckle racing. Charlotte lends itself very well to that, and especially when you've got nothing on the line but bragging rights for the All-Star win. These guys are going to be getting after it. To the Cup race here in a little while. I think you may have some guys that are hoping to put down a good qualifying effort to make it into that All-Star race, and getting the win to also put themselves in there. But I think you're going to expect more of what we just saw. You're so on the edge around here at Dover to try to get them quick times and really find the speed that it's really easy to find yourself in trouble. And when trouble happens, there's not a lot of places to go. So a lot of guys end up jumped.
Yeah, it's definitely a monster of a mile, that's for sure, here at the Dover International Speedway. So thank you, everybody, again, for tuning in here tonight to the ARCA series here for the Evolution Racing Leagues. It's been fantastic here for race number 12. Don't forget race number 12 of the RSR Cup Series coming up here in less than an hour, so don't forget to tune in to that. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in as always. Now we'll send it up to Robert Moore Jr., our producer, to close out tonight's broadcast.
All right. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Zach, for great commentating. Hopefully, everybody out there enjoyed the show here tonight with the ARCA Evolution Racing League. Oh, yeah, ARCA. Why did I say that? I have no clue where I was going with that. But anyways, with Evolution Racing League in their ARCA cars. And like Zach said, here in less than an hour, we'll be live here back here at the Monster Mile with the Cup cars here with these gentlemen. And let's see if the Monster Mile will play nice or will it keep biting some cars. And God knows, like Brandon said, I think we're going to see some side-to-side battle and knuckle and battle here tonight. So make sure you tune in at 9:20 Eastern here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we like to say we'll catch you within an hour. God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel